Do we agree that gross pay is a scam?
You've made plans with the gross, but then now you are seeing the reality and it choke.
Make sure you seek clarification before you pin pen to paper and say, oh, I accept this, so that it's not be a case of what I ordered versus what I get.
Maybe don't tax this salary first, knowing fully well that this person would eventually spend this money, and everywhere he's going to spend this money, tax will be deducted.
Do you know that even Big Brother Nigeria, there is also tax?
Welcome back to another episode of Zabira Buzzed Me, your go-to podcast where we buzz you through all things tech, finance, and digital assets. I am your host, the Media Playboy, girl with the media vibes, and today I have amazing people joining me as we continue the following topic about negotiations and pays. But today we're going to focus on something that everybody has been talking about, and that is gross pay is a scam. Do you really think so? Or do you actually think that there's a reason why there's a gross pay in the first place? So I'm going to introduce my guest here, starting from you.
Hi, my name is Ike. I'm a marketing director.
Okay.
And my name is Rose. I'm the head HR and admin for Zabira.
Okay.
And I'm Stanley Emmanuel, a business development expert.
You don't look like one.
Well,
You look like a young boy. Oh, dear.
it's business still.
Okay, let's first agree. Do we agree that gross pay is a scam? Do we agree?
Yes, to some extent. Yes, basically.
Okay.
Okay, so for me, I would say gross pay is a scam because it is not indicative of your actual pay. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So for salary earners, you have a salary that comes or you negotiate, and even though the figure may seem really interesting or really juicy at first, right? But by the time it goes through certain deductions, for example, payee tax, HMO, a housing scheme, there are a plethora of them, right? That are supposed to be for your benefit as an employee. At the end of the day, so for example, if your salary is over 500K, you might be going home, 550K for example, you might be going home with like 400K or even less after all these deductions. You know, and while when you negotiated, it sounded very juicy.
You have...
You know,
They have humbled you.
But they've humbled you. You've made plans with the gross, but then now you are seeing the reality and it choke.
Yeah.
But for non-salaried earners, that's basically people who earn without, having to have an organizational structure. There are also deductibles. For example, you can, or whatever platform, maybe you're a freelancer on a particular platform, after your engagement and you're supposed to be paid, you now start seeing some kind of hidden charges. They'll tell you platform fees, subscription fees, and this one fee and that one fee. And at the end of the day, let's say you earned $100 for a gig, you're going home with like $72 or $73, right? And that's over $20-something gone because of different charges. So I think it's a scam because most platforms or most employers don't get to divulge the full details or the full extent of deductions
from the very beginning.
Right from the very beginning, and you're just caught unawares and you have to keep running to HR.
But you said,
but you said
my offer letter.
And then you're dragging the platform and their customer support and whatever, and you're saying you guys stole my money, you guys didn't pay me up, So yes, I believe it's a scam.
Okay, we have one person. Stanley.
I mean, I wanted to say, let's even hear what HR has to
because
say.
I'm going to all attack her. So I want
because I wanted to know how to pick the angle to how I'm going to come into the very important.
Okay.
So I'm picking up from our last conversation we had in the last series on the podcast about negotiation, right? And then I'm bringing it back to what the conversations you would have with HRs when you are negotiating. In fact, when I was negotiating my salary, do you know what I would say is a scam? It's even worse when you're in sales or business development. They will tell you, oh, your total package is 1 million. Your total package is... They will not bring that one yet, though. Let's not even go into that conversation now. They will first start with your total package is 1 million. Your total package is 2 million. And then you get into the system or they're sending you an offer letter. And then you're looking at your offer letter, you're not saying your net pay is going to be 400 and something thousand. You're like, The remaining 600 is after deductibles, the other one will go for your sales commission. I'm like, say what now?
So you just deceived me.
Why didn't you? Do you understand? And then now you've left, you're here, and sometimes they even give you an offer letter that shows like your gross pay is this, net pay would be. But when you now finally come in and then you're looking into the system and then you're now seeing that in that net pay, it is only a fraction of it you will get. The remaining one is your commission. Auntie, uncle, why didn't you tell me from the beginning? Like, why? It's a scam.
It's a scam. So
It's a scam.
Experience, right? I remember I was going through some job vacancy I saw somewhere sometime. And I remember that I saw the salary was going to be around 2 million to 3.5 million. I saw gross. Imagination won't finish me because I actually thought, it's gonna be monthly. So let's say even if you reduce, it will still come down to. It was later now. I was reading the job description because they didn't add it in that salary part.
Absolutely.
I now saw that's per animal. That is per year. So by the time I now calculator, please help me change this thing per month. How much is salary? I saw that come down to like
100, if not less.
Like let's say around 200 to 300. I say wait So I thought this thing was even monthly. I even started looking for cars that I was going to buy. My car brand. This thing shocked me. You cannot. The worst part is that people have already finished imagining this.
Absolutely.
Money is mad. And the funny part is there's some companies that will not even tell you the actual breakdown. All they have told you is just know that, say for example, 600 is your gross. At the end of the day, you're going home with 400. They'll just tell you tax, pension, insurance, this one, enter. They have not told you how much for exactly each of these things, so that I'm sure that what you are deducting is the actual deduction and not that you're just removing money. So at the end of the day, it's like you just tell me that my salary is 400. Absolutely. Let me know. Don't give me high hopes. HRO, please give us an answer because it's you.
It seems like you're in
a group of industries that has done this to us.
So what's your question?
Gross pay. Why do you people always tell we candidates that are looking for job hungry that you give us a very high salary that gives us heart attack? At the end of the day, when we now accept the job offer, the deduction is wonderful.
Okay, so look at all of them are just looking at
I'm looking at the audience wants to hear.
Absolutely.
They are eager. Answer for us, please.
Okay, so actually, gross pay is not a scam. It only depends on how it's being used, the context in which it's being used. So it will be regarded as a scam if the company or the persons issuing it are not transparent enough.
Sure.
You understand? Yeah. Then you can now conclude and say gross pay is a scam. Ordinarily, by standard, you don't offer, I'm speaking from the employment part of it, not as a business, like somebody doing like a freelance as a business like that. I'm talking of employment, stuff. So when you are standard is when you're offering, when you're extending an offer to a candidate, you don't work with net, you work with gross pay. Okay. But however, you have to be transparent enough to be able to give a details of what the gross pay is, a breakdown of what the gross pay is. And I've not done a survey, so I cannot say, but I want to say from experience, most times when an offer is extended to people, to candidates, trust me, the only part they want to see is where the salary is.
Yes.
They don't care what confidentiality they're signing. They don't care what numbers of leave they're signing. They just want to know how much is the pay is involved. And not yes. And many a times they're unable to interpret it, which is why now a lot of HR are speaking up, a lot of HR are professionals and practitioners are enlightening people and job seekers and 9-to-5ers and all that the salary goes beyond what is just written on your offer letter. If you're unable to interpret what is on your offer letter, make sure you seek clarification before you pen to paper and say, I accept this, so that it's not be a case of what I ordered versus what I get. You understand? So the area where you will say gross pay is a scam, it is when it is not transparent. Okay. But in cases where it is transparent, because we have a lot of people speaking up now, if you get an offer, I don't know about others, but currently if you get an offer now, you see a breakdown of even as far as a percentage of what each of the aggregate that makes up your gross pay constitutes. So some persons go as far as putting a table to explain to a layman, so you know what your basic. So from your gross pay, you know what percentage of your salary forms, and your gross pay and all that. So people go as far as even putting both the monthly gross and the annual per annum. You understand? So you see in a box, you see, oh, this is the basic housing, transportation, and all that tallies up to maybe basic 45%. This, but at the end of this, it's going to be 100%. And you see how much of it is going to be. So they are transparent. In that sense, gross pay is not a scam because you already know exactly the financial implication of what you want to go into and all that. So that's what I would say in terms of that.
So let's talk about the breakdowns under this money now. Tax, pension, insurance. First of all, what if I don't want pension? Just give me the money. What if I don't want to pay? Tax. I understand that every citizen should pay tax like normally, but I used to ask myself, what has this government done for me? Why am I paying them? Why should I give them money from salary I finished sweating for? Is it the transport that I'm going to still pay the bus driver, or the fact that I'm going to come spend money on different things and then they're still going to collect tax from me?
So it's not, I don't see it as they will still collect it. I see it as your obligation as a citizen. You understand?
For living in Nigeria.
No, so it's just like when you, as an employer and an employee again, why the employer has obligations to you as an employee, you also have responsibility to the job. So it's the same thing between an individual and the state. You understand? So if you're saying that you expect the state to do something for you as an individual, because these are revenue channels and stream of revenue, so you have obligations. So a lot of people that compares our country, for instance, to Western countries, these are the things that they also get revenue for. In fact, their major source of revenue is taxation. You understand? And if you check if you listen to this and all that, you find out that Nigeria still have one of the also very simple and relatively good tax system, you can find. So it's not like out of the small thing you're doing.
You have to.
It's unfortunate that we are in a system whereby we are still trying to get certain things done. Ordinarily, our tax that we're paying are supposed to be used for the betterment of the citizens. But it doesn't remove the fact that you have a responsibility to do. So for tax and pension, they are statutory. Companies have no control over it. As a matter of fact, companies are penalized for not doing it.
Okay.
So on your salary, there's what is called statutory requirement and statutory remittances. So where you have your pension, it's not just pension and taxes. There's NHF, there's NSITF, there's ITF, there's
group. About this, just break it down. The English is too much.
There's NSITF, which is National Social Insurance Trust Fund. That's NSITF. There's ITF, Industrial Training Fund. There's NHF, National Housing Fund. There's GLI, which is Group Life Insurance, and there's pension, of course, where you have the pension is a contributive fund, whereby for people who are for the civil services, it is okay for them, civil service rather, whereby they do employer. So I think it's even beneficial to private sector, if you ask me, because for the civil service, by the time they have a contributive pension, but in addition to it, they also have gratuity. So gratuity means that after serving for, currently in civil service is 35 years or 35 or 65 or something. I don't know, whichever comes first.
35 or 65,
whichever comes first. You resign. You retire. Not resign. You retire, and after you retire, there's a lump sum that is paid to you on gratuity. That is like thank you for giving so numbers of your years. But we don't have that at the moment. At the time of this podcast, we don't have gratuity law in Nigeria that covers for the private sector. That is why pension is very good. Now, the gratuity and pension is what these people who have served the government, the federal government, have served in any of the government parastatals fall back to. Now, if you imagine we don't have the Pencom Act in place, if you finish working, maybe you're not lucky enough to work for government and all that, and you work for maybe like a normal 9 to 5 for maybe 35 years, or when you're still healthy, and you resign, you're not able to maybe do a business. Let's even say you're able to do a business and the business fail. What would you fall back to? You understand? So some of these things are the things that the government has as maybe seen and not say, oh, let's come up with the Pencom Act. So it's not just something that we just want to do. As an employer, if you want to be an employer of labor in Nigeria, you must, because like I said, it's contributory. So you are not just bringing from your, but there's a part that is not added to your gross salary that is coming from the employer. So for example, when you see a gross pay of, let's say 400,000 naira, your employer's contribution of pension is not in addition. Is coming separately from another pocket to add to you. So if you are bringing, let's say for the 400,000 naira, if your contribution is like, let's say 10,000 naira, the employer is adding 15,000 naira to it to make it 25,000 naira that are going to remit for you every month. So it's contributory. So you cannot say, oh, because you are not seeing it now, it does not mean that it doesn't exist. You understand? So it exists, and that's why they are doing it. And for the taxes, to fix your road, yes, the government is not good, government is not, but you see, there are some repairs in Lagos. We want to repair Third Mainland Bridge. We want to construct so from one place to this other. Where's the money coming from? It's coming from taxes. Either company tax or personal income tax, whatever you want to do and all that. So so those are some of the things. Even NSITF, like I said before, is in the case of eventuality, let's say you have, in the course of your working, you encounter maybe an accident or all that, they come into play to ensure that you do that. Therefore, NHF, if you want to buy a house to also allow people who have houses and all that, yes, you'll be able to make it's 2.5% of your annual basic. So there are so many things that is embedded inside your gross. But if you don't have an understanding to look at it, yes.
But they're still okay. So, like you said, it has to be that they have to be open,
transparent.
Be transparent to tell the candidate that these are the deductions, these are the amounts that goes into this, so that the person doesn't feel cheated at the end of the day.
Yes.
While there's some that will still not eventually tell you what they know is she will have told you. You have come to work.
So there's a way to go about it. So in this generation, everything changes. This generation, so where you also take into consideration what you want your brand to be known for. What you want your company to represent. Yes. You understand?
Absolutely.
Some persons do that for so many reasons. Most companies do that for so many reasons. One, they don't want to disclose how their structure is for competitors.
Okay.
Two, they don't want to lose talent. They rather put it that way so that when you come in, they will find a way to convince you. You understand? But the people that do it, that actually want to be transparent, because right now nobody wants to be involved in. Truthfully, nobody wants to. Most of these persons, they don't really care about. Yes, you're doing it. You are remitting pension, you are remitting NHF, you are remitting NSITF and all that. At that moment, they cannot have access to it. What they are actually caring about is what's going to hit their account at the end of the day, because that's the only thing that is guaranteed, that they can withdraw and to be able to, with their bill. So if you are able to be transparent enough and truthful enough, at the very least, barest minimum, let me know that this is my gross, and let me know that this is take home. And take home can be different. Yes. Take home, like Stanley said, can be, take home, not take home. So what people want to know as take home is, let them know how much is, we have paid salary for August 2025. How much is going to hit my Zabira wallet? Do you understand? How much is going to hit my Zabira wallet that I'm going to withdraw? That is what they want to hear. Okay. Do you understand? Because that's the only thing, when it hits your Zabira wallet, that's the thing you want to withdraw. That is the thing you can withdraw and go and pay whatever bills, pay your rent, buy food, and buy different things. So if you are at the barest minimum, if you don't want to do anything, you don't want to do because of computer and all that, let the person know. So the person comes and say, okay, I'm receiving 200,000 naira for this new offer that I've gotten. Is it enough for me to do my expenses? And the person knows that, okay, well, as I'm signing, it's 200,000 I'm getting. And true, when August ends, I'm going to get 200,000 naira. The remaining part, whether you're using to remit for pension or is fine by them. You want to do for NHF, it's fine by them. But I know that it is 200,000 is my working capital for that month. Yeah. Okay.
So let's talk about something else, right? And I'm interested in your kids. So in a situation now, say a foreign job comes. The salary is like $2,000 monthly. You're not working for a Nigerian company anymore. The money enters your account. Are you still gonna pay tax with your tax ID? Are you gonna pay your pension from the money?
Okay, so that is a very interesting question because it has happened to me before,
Okay.
but maybe not in the amount. I'll not disclose the amount anymore.
Okay.
Before I find the commas. But anyways, yeah. So it's a familiar situation, especially if you're earning from foreign platforms, if you're earning from, let's say, trading platforms and whatnot, right? I think there's legal grounds, right,
Yes.
for the government that has made provision for some certain taxes.
I think there's a recent
which,
law.
to me, I don't agree with because for crying out loud, one, the country didn't facilitate my earning that income, right? But there can be another argument that will say the internet you are using in the country is facilitated by the government. But then if I'm using Starlink, I'm not using internet from the country. It's a dicey one. It's personally, I hate it, right? I hate that when I'm having this exact figure, I can't plan around that exact figure.
Yeah.
Because there'll be one, and you're even missing charge itself. Aside from what you see, the tax you would see, you would also have to deal with deductions from the bank. They will tell you charges for this one, especially if you're using a domiciliary account.
Yes.
Absolutely. Which is why personally I've switched to using stablecoin wallets.
Okay.
Zabira wallets. If they are not paying me in stable coins, forget it. Do you understand?
Okay.
That way I can also, manage my phone, but then I'm not giving code though. So that they will not come and block that one again.
HRS should not hear this because they'll find a way to make sure we pay. And when I'm raising this...
But HR is not the one in charge of setting taxes now. They can't just set taxes.
True.
Exactly. So that's my own business. It's between me and my wallet. And because my wallet is self-custody, they cannot see what I'm doing in my wallet.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so yes, like you said, we cannot set tax. As a matter of fact, there is Personal Income Tax Act, which is PITA 2020 that was amended. Yeah. But I want to say something concerning what Ikechukwu said. Let me play the devil's advocate. So if you say, because I think I don't know, but I think there was a time I read that the federal government of Nigeria want to start, I don't know if they started taxing for every money that comes in. Whether you're earning, I don't know if you read the news, you're earning in dollars. Yes. I don't know if it has taken effect. If it hits your account in Nigeria, you're going to pay tax on it. But yes, they're going to pay tax, dollars, and yes, they're going to pay tax. Nothing is free. Now, but I don't think it is wrong. Do you know why? Because you say if you're working here and you're working because you said you didn't get a job and all that. Let me play devil's advocate now. The company you're working with overseas also have other staff that are working in their country. If they receive $2,000 like you, will it not be taxed?
Yeah, you will.
So why don't you want it to be taxed in Nigeria?
So I have an argument.
We are in our own country.
But you are also earning.
I have an argument to that, right? If you go to countries,
their countries.
Hold on. If you go to countries like Estonia, let me use Estonia as a case in point, right? Where they have things called your digital nomad visa, for example.
Okay.
Right? Where as someone employed in tech or in the digital space, you can literally move to their country and reside there. You're not going to be taxed for your earnings, regardless of where you're earning from. You can be earning from Japan, you can be earning from the USA. That's none of their concern. They're not going to tax you for that, right? And the reason is because you're in their country. You're going to make expenses in their country. So everything that you're going to spend on is still going to go back to them. You're still going to buy things and pay tax on the things that
on those things you're buying.
You don't have to tax your income
twice.
Do you understand? So for me, I feel it's an overcharge. Do you understand? You tax me for the income I'm getting to my account, and then I'm still going to spend the money and still pay taxes on top of that. That it doesn't make sense. I feel like I'm being robbed blind.
Thank you. Like you have to tell me that I have no choice.
Yeah.
Stanley.
Yes, please.
So recently, why I asked this question is because there's this popular TikToker, right, Pella, that recently
20 million,
mentioned,
35 million.
Coming, talks about, and many TikTokers and celebrities, influencers, they make money online, Facebook and the rest. Now the government, of course, they must chop if you're in their country, and you are still a citizen of that country. But now they want you as a creator earning in foreign currency from another country that owns the platform to now start paying tax. HR mentioned the whole personal income tax thing. But for example, if somebody is sending me money for something specific like school fees, government is taking away tax plus bank deductions. The money left is no longer enough
amount
to pay for that
school
thing.
fees.
Do you people agree that the government should be taking money from creators, influencers, earning on platforms that are not even Nigerian?
Domiciled to
Do you
Nigeria.
understand? Like, I feel it's and 36 million, because some taxes are actually ridiculous. I think I remember one time, I don't know if it was
I don't think so. I think
Keji.
you should ask how much is the money that the
No.
36 million is applied. Do you know that even Big Brother Nigeria, there is also tax?
from who?
The money you won.
winners, yeah.
Yes.
You pay tax.
Immediately to be subject to
And they
tax.
said the money
It
does
is.
not come fully, it comes in bits.
No, you can't prove that.
No, one of them did mention it.
Fina?
No, not Fina. It
So
was
does
one of the
that, does
people.
that mean that
That they
even
pay.
No, the-
lottery money is taxed?
Yes, that's what
Yes.
that's what I was going to say.
Yes,
That's what
it
I was
is.
going
Yes, it
to.
is.
That even lotteries,
Yes.
if you win a lottery,
Yeah.
you will pay tax.
You pay tax.
I read
You pay tax, so anyhow money comes.
Earnings,
Any
bonuses,
earnings,
any
bonuses,
bonuses,
earnings, commissions, stuff
The
like
only
that.
thing you're not paying tax is expense. Expense.
No VAT now. You're paying tax now as VAT.
No. So expense means that you're treating it as expense. Let's say transport expenses,
Okay.
telephone expense. So it depends on the way
but
you mention it in your books.
But
So
in
when you
some-
treat it as expense, you won't pay tax.
Okay, but in some cases, right,
Mm.
what you're already spending on has already come with tax inclusive. For example, you're going to a supermarket to buy the items you've already put on,
Spending
Yes.
is
You know, formally the way
Added.
tax inclusive. Yeah?
So, yeah,
that
so-
means you are just being taxed every step of the way.
So yes, again, in all
because
of
from your
this,
salary that you got that money from, it was already taxed.
taxed,
Thank you.
and then the
And
rest
you
of
still
it
have
is still being
No,
taxed.
so there are different types of tax.
Yeah, that's what I was going to
Yeah, there are different
speak
types
to.
of tax. The one on your salary is personal income tax. The one on the food you buy is value added
Added
tax. There are
tax.
different types. Then there's another one, withholding tax.
That one is on the value added tax.
Tax.
What did you want to say on that part?
Yeah, so I was going to speak to it to say, when it comes to taxing, to the best of my knowledge in business, right, it's not one type of tax that's applied to everything.
Yeah.
And that was just what HR was explaining, right? So yes, when you're receiving your income, pay personal income tax, you get to pay for that one, that you're receiving an income. You can choose to, the government will not know if you choose to, after receiving the rest of that money, you choose to go and invest all of it
And
and
buy
not
anything.
do anything.
When you withdraw the money,
Yeah.
you still be taxed.
When you're
After you-
withdrawing the money,
Yes, now
Yes,
let's say
the
they
charge
finish
is
deducting
withdrawn.
the
and
tax.
that withdrawal charges
You-
is not tax now.
Mhm.
It's
It's charges
No.
for the platform.
it's charges on the platform. So there's let's not mistake tax
and charges.
for processing fees,
And charges.
And charges.
Time should be deductibles.
deductibles. But in those
That includes
deductibles, you now
tax.
have tax and other things, right? So now, coming back to your question that you were asking about if content creators should be taxed for what they are doing and all. At the end of the day, let's be factual, yeah. The facilities you are even using to do that content, whether or not the platform you're using is here,
Yes.
it's here.
Yes.
So, for example,
We are
you are
both devil's advocates. We are advocates.
for example, here's why I'm saying that. For example, your most of these guys, they don't have an apartment of their own, for example.
True.
They use rented apartments, service apartments, shortlets, and all of that. You pay those guys for using that apartment, right? Some of those guys maybe don't even pay land use charge, which is also a form of tax or deductible, some in that line and all of that, right?
House owner pays those ones.
Yes. So the fact that you're using facilities or things in that
Estates,
country
services.
that is facilitating it's a
Your
business
income.
you're doing, exactly. So that is what you're being taxed on, not just because you are a content creator that is doing content and being paid for that content.
And there's a principle for taxing.
Yes.
They don't just-
Yes, they don't just
they'll-
come to
they'll
tax. So
tell you,
so I was
They
just
give
going
you
to speak to that in the angle of there are different type of taxes that are being applied to different things.
Service charge, consumption tax, VAT again, 3 things. As I'm saying, you are being charged. I've paid for the food now. I've paid for the services. Why are you still charging me again for tax? As I'm saying, we're literally being we're literally being charged for every single thing. Very soon, if you're entering Balogun market or even supermarkets now,
Do you know the funny
I
thing?
agree with her. And the angle I'll come from is this, right? So if from the point of origination to the last mile, it seems like at every point, it's almost like as if you are driving a downfall. Let me give that illustration.
Okay.
Right? And at every point, you see an advert Owoda. Every junction, you meet Owoda.
Okay.
Owomida.
Owomida.
Let's be clear on that.
Exactly.
It's their money. It's not your own.
Illustration of what
This
this tax thing or deductibles, let me put it like that, is, right? Because you receive income, right? A gross income. And from the point you receive it, even the platform that is paying it to you will collect their own.
Tax.
The platform that is receiving that you receive it from will collect their own. Let's not call it tax, deductibles.
Okay.
The platform you're receiving it from and the one you're receiving it to will collect their own. You now have whatever is left, you carry it out to spend on whatever it is that they want to say they taxed you for because you are using our facilities locally. Those things that you are paying for already come with tax inclusive.
Yes.
Do you understand? Whether they are remitting or not, it's not your fault and it's not your business.
Absolutely.
But you are being charged for it and you pay for it. You will buy from supermarket, you will pay tax. You will go and rent a hotel room or a whatever.
You will still
tax
pay.
Tax is inclusive there. You're going to eat at a restaurant. Tax is inclusive.
When
there.
does it ever stop?
When does it ever end? The deductibles continue. So I think, right, this dimension of the direction of this conversation should now shift. Okay, now we know that deductibles are inevitable. Only that every bus stop is a standing order. So now what do we do? How do we get to be able to manage what we have?
Yes.
Right? Regardless of these deductions that we get along the way. And maybe even still find a way to multiply what we have.
Yeah.
I think the reason we're having issues with it is that we don't see what these taxes are used for.
That's why.
That's why we're having problem with it. Because if we are seeing what these taxes are used for, we'll not be having this conversation.
Absolutely.
Because this tax we're talking about, there are people who pay more and they don't actually complain because they see what they're using
it's doing
it for.
for them.
The reason we're having this conversation is because we're not seeing
the results.
We're not seeing what they're using the tax for. So everything is still very difficult, and yet I am paying tax. I think that's the frustration.
Yes.
So I think another thing, if I'm to,
so it's not that you don't want to pay tax.
If I'm to just on a final note, if I'm to speak my mind to this on what I think would work, it's just like an illustration you gave earlier about, say someone sends me money for school fees, and then by the time they apply tax, it has reduced all the money, and at the end of the day, I'm not able to, right? I think I don't know if that's a feasible thing, but let there be specifics of what can be taxed, and then the other thing should now be left. So if you're a salary earner, for example, right, maybe don't tax this salary first, knowing fully well that this person would eventually spend this money, and everywhere he's going to spend this money, tax will be deducted. These people will be sanctioned if they don't remit the tax. So either way, the government is getting. So it doesn't look as if we're being double taxed or we're getting double deduction. That's just, I think, my own take on this, right? Whatever is the primary source of income to a business, maybe should not be taxed, or the tax on it should be minimal. Right, to be brought down to the barest minimum, right? A 1% here, a 1.5. Government officials, if you're hearing this, it's a prank. There's a camera watching me. But then, and then every other thing, the regular tax, the value-added tax, withholding tax, consumption tax, whatever other tax can now apply based off on whatever it is you're doing. Because you've already received this money, you're not going to keep the money. You won't put it under your pillow. You are not Pius's grandmother that will collect money and put it under her pillow, right? You still will spend this money. So when you do, that cannot be taxed. Who is that? Is that a person?
Yes, that's a person.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Okay. But you know Pius will watch this podcast, right?
Who is Pius? What's a Pius?
Okay, so just to add, right, in conclusion, I also think that there are taxes or deductibles that we can control. For example, health insurance, which companies try to provide for employees. And why I'm saying this is because a lot of companies are paying for health insurance for their staff, but it's not active. You go to 10 hospitals on your street, on your area, and they're telling you this company is not part of the HMO list of companies that we have on our radar. That's one. Another thing is that you may even reach out to them for a specific thing. Let's say you're sick. Like there was a time I was ill. I reached out to them. I waited 1 hour. There was no doctor. There was nobody that responded. So it's like my company is going the extra mile to pay to make sure that I have a reserve when it comes to my health. Absolutely. And you're not available. And that's a lot of people even say even health insurance as part of the things
deductibles,
that causes
the gross pay.
Yes, it's also a scam. So it's like we're not seeing things.
Health insurance is not part of your gross pay.
Is it not part of the deductions?
No, it's not.
Sorry, you mentioned one health thing, NH something.
Those are additional pay coming from the employer's pocket, not from your gross pay. Yes. Do you understand? So the law says that for Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund, NSITF, says that 1% of payroll. Do you understand? So let's say my total payroll that I'm paying for employees, let's say 20 employees, I'm paying 10 million naira. The law says that 1% of that amount is going to be remitted as 1% of that amount is going to be remitted as the NSITF. So I'm only going to do 1% of this. Not that I'm deducting it from your salary.
Okay.
It's coming because as an employer, those are the obligations that you have towards the person that is working for you. So that in case of eventuality, that lump sum that you have been contributing for the person, the body can now bring from that money to take care of the person. Yes. In addition to that, also for pension is not being taxed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for you to get your taxable income, that's why I said there's a lot of things that go into getting your taxable income for Peter. You understand? There's what you call CRA, Consolidated Tax Relief. There's some relief, even in your salary. It's not your whole salary that is being taxed.
Okay.
There's what is called reliefs. They have different reliefs. So if you are earning 500,000 naira, for example, you are not taxing 500,000 naira.
Yeah.
Maybe at the end of the day, your taxable income in the 500,000 naira may be like 300,000 naira. 200,000 naira is not being taxed. And part of it are some of the relief, pensions and all that, they're not taxing. But at the point of collecting your pension, because you are still going to be taxed, so they won't tax it from source. That's why you laughing. So you understand? But the point is, even in your gross pay, there are some reliefs that you have that is not coming from your salary. So those insurance are not coming from your salary.
Okay.
However.
Okay.
This is the point.
Okay.
However,
you're going to be in the hospital.
No, in some companies.
Okay.
In some companies, not all companies. So it varies from one company to the other. They may decide, for example, that because of planning and budgeting, the total financial cost I want for this role is 1 million naira. Means that every deduction that I want to do as regard this one talent is 1 million naira. So you're going to factor in all the remittances,
remittances into
but that's why I said, in so doing, just make sure you are transparent enough.
Yes. Most importantly,
so even if it is 1 million, what you will be seeing on your offer may be 500,000 naira gross pay.
No problem.
So those other 500,000 naira has been taken to put for this, for that, for that. But from their expenses for bookkeeping, recording, and financial reporting, it is 1 million per head. So you'll be able to know how much is one cost per head of your staff. How much am I spending on Ike as a staff of Zabira? Because it's not just salary I'm spending for Ike. Ike is going to the hospital. I'm the one paying for it. But with that, if you say, oh, it's 1 million that is a portion for Ike, you'll be able to know. So when you want to increase it, you know how much you are increasing like that. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I learned a lot today.
Yeah, you pay.
All of us learned a lot. So thank you everyone for watching, and help me thank my guests. They made it more, I learned a lot of things. And we finally understood that creators out there, I'm so sorry, in case you see me on the road, influencers, celebrities are there. We just they talk at, please pay the tax if you want pay. If you don't want pay, I know the government, I know the work for government, I know the government picking. If you want more topics like this on money, finance, how to use your money wisely, smart money moves, and so much more, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and follow us on all social media platforms. Until then, see you next time and stay buzzed.